Hey, how's it going, everybody? It's RC Maxfield here from the Back to 12 podcast, and Texas Tech football is just around the corner. So if you're going to want to stay in the know all season long, be sure to hit that sub button right here. We're going to be giving you daily videos throughout football and men's basketball season and covering every program on campus, giving you their latest schedules, players to know, and the rivalry matchups that are going to happen along the way. So stay in the know right here on the Back to 12 podcast channel. But on this video today, we are going to talk about the 5 must-watch players for Texas Tech football today. And really, they're going to be kind of obvious, but there's a couple that I think that when you're talking about it in Texas Tech fandom are kind of iffy type players, right? A few of them are obvious names that I have to mention just because, well, they're going to be the guys that need to take that next step for Texas Tech football. But overall, I think there is a couple of names here out of the 5 that maybe will surprise some people. But let's start out with one of my absolute favorite players to watch on this team, and it's Rayshad Williams. He led the defense last year in snaps with over 835. He is an absolute lockdown corner, in my opinion. Now, he was second on the team in pass deflections last year, only behind senior that graduated Demarcus Fields. But when you look at what Rayshad Williams brings to the table, he's athletic, he's quick, and he's got quick twitch muscles as well with his hips. And if at the corner position you have length and you can turn your hips, you can make up speed and really get into any defender's breadbasket when it comes to trying to catch a football and just break up anything. I think he takes that next step at the DB position for Texas Tech this year and becomes an all Big 12 type corner for the Red Raiders. Now, talking about the offensive line a little bit, I know that a lot of people are excited about Cole Spencer. I am as well, Weston Wright. But the guy that I'm looking at most for this offensive line is Caleb Rogers. He is the stalwart for this offensive line. He will be moving from right tackle to left tackle. At least that's what reports are indicating early on. But if this happens, he has to take that next step, and I think he will. He's one of those guys, when you watch Caleb Rogers, he only allowed 4 sacks last year and 426 opportunities. A couple of them, you just get outmanned. It's going to happen in one of the best leagues when it comes to college football in the country. But he really took it to heart last year. He needed to work on a couple things because as a true freshman, he struggled a little bit. But the coaching staff gave him an opportunity, and he took it and ran with it. I'm very interested to see what the move looks like from right tackle to left tackle, but I truly believe he has the potential to be an impact offensive lineman in the Big 12, and Texas Tech absolutely needs that, considering he's going to be on the left side, and all 3 of your quarterbacks potentially are going to be right-handed. Now, speaking of quarterbacks, Tyler Shough is the guy to watch for me. And I will say this, it would not shock me at all if Behren Morton is the starting quarterback, and it wouldn't shock me if Donovan Smith is the starting quarterback, but I'm going into camp thinking that Tyler Shough is the clear favorite to win this job because last year, he really didn't do anything to lose the job in the games that he played before getting injured down in Austin. He was pretty solid, right? 8 TDs total, 3 interceptions. One of those TDs was rushing. He had a couple of mistakes that you didn't like, but he really turned it on, and you could start seeing he was getting comfortable in that offense. I think he's going to be even better in a Zach Kittley offense if he gets the opportunity to start. And now, again, this could be shuffled in where this is Donovan Smith or Behren Morton, but I like Tyler Shough because, first and foremost, I think he's better than people give him credit for when it comes to the mobility aspect of it. Is he going to be, a Michael Vick or even guys similar to that? No. But he is a big body quarterback that can throw the ball down the field, has experience in 2 major conferences, and has succeeded in 2 major conferences, Pac-12 at Oregon, where he won a Pac-12 title as a starting quarterback for the Ducks, transfers into Texas Tech, solid as I mentioned, 8 touchdowns total, 3 interceptions, made a couple of bad reads, but overall, I thought he was pretty solid and looked to be okay down in Austin on a lot of his throws, but we really didn't get to see him in the Big 12 all that much, except for really a quarter and a half. So I'm very interested to see what Tyler Shough can look like if he's the starter, but I will say this, I will have another video coming out later, probably next week, about who the starting quarterback I think will be for Texas Tech, because I'll be honest, I say Tyler Shough in this, but it could easily change to Donovan Smith and Behren Morton because I could really see it going one of those 3 ways, and I think all of them have a great chance. Now, transitioning to two guys that I think take that next leap because, well, they need to. And we'll start and stay on the offensive side of the football, and it's Myles Price. Myles Price is the leading receiver returning for Texas Tech. I think he has a major impact in the slot. Zach Kittley, the coordinator coming over from Western Kentucky, and everybody knows at this point for the Red Raiders, returning back to Lubbock and his ties to Texas Tech. I think you see a guy similar to what happened at Western Kentucky. Maybe not the astronomical numbers put up there by Stearns, but I could see Myles Price in a very similar role where he gets 1,100 yards because he is the main target. You don't know what you have on the outside, and the Trey Clevelands of the world, the J.J. Sparkmans, the Loic Fungis, those type guys, Duran Bradley, right? You don't know what you have in those guys, but you do know what you have in Myles Price, and he is going to be a security blanket of sorts outside of the tight end position for whoever starts at the quarterback position for the Red Raiders. And last but not least, I think this guy is arguably the most important player for Texas Tech outside of the quarterback position. And it wouldn't be a Texas Tech video if I didn't bring up the defensive end, Tyree Wilson. I think Tyree Wilson, when I watch him, has first round upside. He has the quick twitch for a guy his size. He can bully you with the bull rush, but he's also just a tactician with his hands up against offensive linemen. The big deal for Tyree Wilson is not going to be his production because he's going to produce. I'm not worried about that. It's who steps up for the Red Raiders opposite of Tyree Wilson. Is it going to be Josiah Pierre? Is it going to be Moore? Is it going to be Kershaw Merriweather going into the A-B-C gap on disguised blitzes, right? Who is it going to be? Maybe Tony Bradford or Jalen Hutchins has a good year in terms of rushing the passer, but Tyree Wilson, I think, has the potential not only to lead the Red Raiders in sacks. I think that's going to be a given if he's healthy, but I also think he could lead the conference in sacks. Yes, you heard me right. But this comes down to not only his performance, but who steps up opposite of Tyree Wilson. I think it'll be Josiah Pierre, but Tyree Wilson is that good. I've seen mock drafts, and again, take it with a grain of salt. It's mock drafts. It is what it is. But I've seen him mocked going 21st and even 23rd in the first round of next year's NFL draft. Do I think that happens? Maybe not, but if he does lead the conference in sacks, you better believe that he is in that conversation to go in the top 20 to top 35 of next year's NFL draft because he has every measurable, every technique, and is driven to be that guy. And don't even get me started on what kind of guy he is. He's arguably the nicest guy on the team, but when he gets on the field, he flips that switch and turns into an absolute menace for opposing offensive coordinators. Let me know. Did I leave somebody out? Those are my 5 must-watch players for Texas Tech going into next season. Listen, it could be Donovan Smith. It could be Behren Morton. It could be Tyler Shough at the quarterback position. Either way, Texas Tech is in a very good spot. It's just, what are your expectations for year one of Joey McGuire? Again, if you haven't already, be sure to follow me on Twitter at RCMB323 and be sure to hit that sub button to stay in the know all year long on everything Texas Tech athletics. We'll catch you next time right here on the Back to 12 podcast channel.